And I'm back. This is Way of Weinstein. Wherever you may be and however you may be watching, live in the financial district of New York City, Facebook Live and YouTube. Talking Marvelous Mrs. Maisel Season 2. We're talking episodes 5 through 8. Okay, so this is where I think the real meat of the season took place. Really set it up for episodes 9 and 10. Okay, so what really stood to me with this episode was Joel, the absolute ladies' man, when he's just showing off, bowling, nailing strike after strike after strike. And he's got that really cute girl in the orange shirt, Ruthie, literally throwing herself at him, saying that I make a great turkey, you would love my turkey. And Joel's completely throwing her aside because he's probably still not over Midge, and let's be honest, who would be? No blame given. And the fact that she's in and she needs to get back to New York because she has the opportunity to work at the Revlon counter. And she's figuring out, do I walk? Do I take a bus? Have you ever taken a bus? And then she really needs a ride of some sort. And that's when she takes the long ride with Dr. Benjamin because he's out of cereal. And that's it for the Catskills, which I love the nuance of how weird his character was, and with how it ended with them going to New York and almost reluctantly asking her out, saying that all right, you're a good-looking Jewish person, I'm a good-looking Jewish person, we have to at least see if this works. And even before that, how you can almost see him faking a smile to when she's doing that whole shtick with the radio and making up her own report. So that was really fun. And when they went to the show together and they're both really not enjoying it, and then going to the stand-up and Lenny Bruce give Midge the approval of Dr. Benjamin, and they go to the stage deli. So I really liked how they started to bud and kind of started to like each other. But let's get to the important part. Me. So I was also in this episode. So for this episode, I was at her scene at the Catskills where she's doing stand-up. And so being on set, I was there 2 days in this was in Queens, and I was there for about 25 hours, and this was literally just for the one scene of her doing stand-up. And the scenes of where she's saying, I'd rather, where she spots that her father sees her, and people saying how people come from sex, and my first everything came at the Catskills. And it was just so great to be, I was probably within 5 feet away from her doing that bit. And it was just phenomenal seeing how talented and brilliant she was. Because even though there were about 20 to 30 takes, she really didn't mess up on any of them. She just kept requesting Amy, Sherman-Palladino, the creator, director, brilliant visionary, behind the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, that I want another take, and from that it was really fun. And you can't see my face in that episode, but you can see my back right in that episode. And I'm going to get into more details in my videos about what it was like to be an extra and on set stories I had with a few people, which I'll leave for that video. But overall, just so watching and just seeing that at the father, caught him, and oh my God, I can't believe you're a stand-up. He looked like he wanted to kill her, which obviously was not going to kill his own daughter, but he looked that furious. I absolutely loved that episode. Okay, so let's move on to episode 6. So with episode 6, Abe and Midge's conversation about being a stand-up, and that was great. Just overall thinking how long have you done this? Do you think you can do this? Do you get money for this? And the whole Noah and the Noah and Abe Bell Labs meeting, how Noah is in the CIA. So from that, I mean, I'm not the biggest. I don't dislike the Noah character, just that he's kind of bland. And in a show that's got so much pop and so much humor and great writing, then. Okay, so then with episode 6, so this is the last episode that I'm in, and this is the episode where you can most clearly see my face and see my body. So with this episode, you can see me. I'm right behind their table, which this episode was also in the interior. That was also filmed in Brooklyn, where if you look, you can see I'm the first person to stand up. I button my jacket, and then I ask for a woman wearing a white dress's hand to dance. And I must have tried and done that about a good 80 times, because I can't tell you how many takes they do on set. I mean, all the people there are just so fantastically talented. You don't realize all the different cameras, all the different principal directors, all the different lights, the boom guy, how much work actually takes. Now, it took me 40 hours to be there for 3 days just for being an extra, and I can't imagine what it's like for them. And now, the one line that was the biggest spoiler for me when I was on set was how Joel said to Midge, I think it's time that we dance with our people. So granted, I had no context for that, just because I didn't know what happened in episodes 1 through 3, or the meat of what else happened in 4 through 6. But I like that they were kind of like both moving on, dancing with their people, realizing that hey, they love each other, they have kids together, but it didn't work out. Okay, episode 7. So Joel continues this arc of just being the man. I hated the Joel character in season 1, but I loved Joel in season 2. I loved him. So Mrs. Moskowitz at times is pretty funny, saying you actually need to leave the house for it to be a date, and you have three women who literally say, Joel, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. You can't do that. That's Yom Kippur. I mean, Joel is just so funny, and I loved it. And Archie was pretty good too. And then we see Midge and Ben on their first kind of real date, where they're actually kind of like each other. And then at the art show, how Dr. Ben's really into art, and then from there, she gets this painting from the back room, which comes with a hat, which is very important. Then they go to this pub, which has a lot of artists, and this character Declan Howell, who I've heard is in other stuff on Amazon Prime, I don't know what, but he was really, really good. And he wouldn't sell his art, and he's obviously flirting with Midge, which, let's be honest, who wouldn't want to flirt with Midge? And he says Dr. Ben can go check out his art studio if he brings Midge. And that leads to the hilarious conversation of them outside Dr. Ben's beautiful apartment, saying how she's only slept with her husband, although she's very experienced, she can do that, but not for money. How the way that she explains things, and is just really talented at doing so. And then Dr. Ben had a really great line, which I have the quote here. In referring to the bench, he was saying, "It is pretty spectacular, though spectacular takes on a much different meaning once a person's met you." Kisses her and says, "You are spectacular." I thought that was a great line, and hey, may not be the worst line to use. And for the rest of that episode, how she goes back to Declan's, and she sees the painting, she sees his masterpiece. And now, I didn't realize it the first time I saw this episode, saying that in order to be great at something, you really need to forego the family life. You can't do that. You have to put your passion first, which in a way is which was foreshadowing for Midge this season. And so with this episode, it is Yom Kippur. They finally got the rabbi, and the whole reveal of her telling the family that she's a stand-up, and Susie comes to dinner, and Abe obviously knows that she's a stand-up. Like, how could you keep this a secret from us, from your mother? And she kills her Seth because she essentially just repeated the Yom Kippur incident. And it's finally great to get that out in the open. Okay, and then last episode for this video, the comedy tour of DC and Philly. So again, Joel just having me like him more. So being extremely overprotective of Midge, yelling at Susie, saying if anything happens to the mother of my children, I'm gonna take your head and play catch with it with Ethan, and yells at her how to change a tire. And the first sign of her, in order to her be great at something, she's gonna miss things in her personal life. Misses Imogene's baby shower, and at the end, when they go to this club, how even though she's only 10 minutes late, the manager there, who's a douche, says, "You're late, there was an audition, I'm not going to pay you." So then Joel coming in, punching Ricky, the manager, in the face, saying, "You better pay them. You pay the male comics, but not the female comics. What's up with that? You wouldn't notice talent if it punched you in the face." Got Susie, and Midge paid. I mean, Joel just continuing his arc of really making me like him. So that is my thoughts on episodes 4 through 8. Really liked what they're doing. Now with episodes 9 and 10, those are each going to get their own video. So I'll be back in a couple of minutes. And if you like this video, like it, share it, subscribe to my YouTube channel at Way of Weinstein. I'll be back in a few.